Hey guys, welcome back to Knights Code AI. So we recently added GitHub Spec-Kit to our game project, and we want to move towards a spec-driven development and test-driven development workflow with our game instead of just, creating features with Copilot, having a little bit more structure where we define features, we go through a testing cycle, and have that kind of closure and having a more mature process for releasing features. This is going to be great once we actually release the game. It's going to allow us to release more features in a stable fashion. So that's very important. One thing we have to get working before we can move to a test-driven development workflow is actually being able to run test scripts via command line. And the reason we're doing command line instead of the Godot editor is so we can use Copilot to trigger those tests. We're gonna have Copilot actually generate the tests, run them. They should fail the first time. Then Copilot is gonna go through the spec, actually create the feature, then run those tests again, and they should work. So this is gonna allow us to make sure that any feature that we introduce isn't breaking something we've already created, and that's very important. But the test scripts are only going to work on they're only going to work for game logic. It's not actually going to be able to test user input and interfaces and things like that. We still have to test those ourselves, just going through and actually playing the game. So what we're going to use is Godot unit test. This is the most popular plugin, and we recently upgraded Godot to 4.6. So this is the one I grabbed, is this 4.6. I just downloaded it, unzipped, and then put it into the add-ons directory here alongside of our logduck. And then you have to go to project settings, plugins tab, and enable it. So one thing I didn't pay attention to the first time I did this was I was running Godot 4.4 and I grabbed the latest one, and there was some issues with that. So it's important to actually grab the one that fits with your version. So if you are running 4.4, for example, you would want to grab this one as the minimum version that you need. So we got that, we turned it on, and then I created just kind of a dummy. Actually have my test in scripts test. So I created this test verify, which is just asserting true, and then we were able to run that. Now there was a couple of things I did. I created a script called run test, so I didn't have to pass all these things, but it's essentially telling it to run the test from the current path and accept any arguments I'm passing in. So I can use this script to test a specific test, or I can just run all my tests like this, and all tests passed. These warnings are because I'm running it in headless, and nothing to worry about. This is essentially what we're looking for here, and so this is great. The next thing I have to do is actually let GitHub Spec-Kit know that it needs to use this command to run tests in the future. So what I've done here is I actually asked Copilot what I should do here. I'm using Spec-Kit. I want it to know that I'm going to use this script always, and what is the best file to put it in. It recommended to put it in the constitution. I definitely agree with that. I just wasn't sure if I should also put it in the agent as well. But we'll see if this works. If it doesn't, I'll let you know. We'll do an update on that. But we essentially added this line to the constitution that says tests must be run using run test pi wraps gut with correct Godot flags. And we also have the gut config here. This tells it where to start. So the directory, this is how it knows where my tests are. and then just some other popular settings. So that's it. Now we should be ready to go with running tests. I did create the spec actually before I got this working, so I'm gonna have to go back through and do a clarify on these tasks in order to get it to run the test properly. So it did create this test and created that auto load script, but now we need to now it's saying run this test in the Godot editor. So I'm gonna go back through and update the tasks in order for all of these tasks to just, they're gonna say run this run test PSI command for this test to verify it. So we're all set up now to actually implement, and that's gonna be the next step. So stay tuned.